What's up, nerds and nerdettes, and we little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G, the Two Gun Picture presents Viewer Comments and AMA. Not talking about fighting, talking about Ask Me Anything. So yeah, we've had quite a few. We had a little bit more, I think, than the last month. It's been dwindling down, I think, and I've said this before, part of that problem is me, because I'm traditionally not the greatest with answering comments. But that does have to change. I know. So here we are at the comments section, and let's go with all. Okay, this should be it. Yep. All right, so starting with Tales for the Table. No, that's not a show for me. Tales from the Table. 4 Against Darkness, Poisoned Goblins, and Emerald Eyes. Michael Kleppinger, 4025, 3 days ago said, "A nice video. Thanks for sharing." Well, thank you very much for taking your time to watch our channel, watch our show, but even more so, taking the time to comment. That's very awesome. Thank you. I hope we continue to make more videos that you enjoy in this for fun channel that I have going on here. So Friday Night Fillers for the Lost Expedition, The Fountain of Youth. And this one's going back. This isn't a very, very current episode. I like that. I like when I see comments from episodes that are like older, aren't just like from this particular month. I see comments from a video from months ago or years ago. I mean, it gets me thinking, did that just pop up in their feed? Did they go searching for this kind of title to begin with? Are they a subscriber? So it popped up more likely. These things pop in my head. I wonder about that. So Friday Night Fillers, The Lost Expeditions, Fountain of Youth. Fountain of Youth is the expansion for Lost Expedition. Quincy Morris, 2 weeks ago, Quincy Morris made 2 comments. To play this game, you must have to pay attention to all 6 cards, not just the very next one. It is. You make a point that makes this sound like chess. And anyone that read that comment or is listening to me now, he's right. In that aspect, it is. And I make that mistake, which is probably the main reason why I've lost every one of those games, or the Judge Dredd Cursed Earth game, which is based on these mechanics and style. Probably because I don't manage the future cards well enough. I do to a degree, and I usually forget about the next 6 cards that you got to do for the overnight. Don't always take that into consideration either right away. And also, then he added to this, to play this game, you have to pay attention to all 6 cards, not just the very next one. All in, all a well-earned, all in, all a well-earned defeat. Yes, it was. But hey, I try because I love this game so much, and that's why I keep sitting at the table on and off camera. Let me just say something. When I started this channel, like 7 years ago, I didn't understand unboxing videos. I mean, I understood what they were. I understood the visual, the dynamics of it and all that. What I mean is, I didn't understand why people wanted to watch unboxing videos, because they're pretty popular on YouTube. Well, I started doing them, and now I love doing them. And here we go, a comment from What's in the Pixies Box, Funko Games. And this is from the Chad T.I. I must have this. It's too bad indie doesn't seem to have a consistent presence in the toy games. They are very sporadic. Funko Pop games, Funkoverse games, yes. And from what I understand, don't immediately quote me on this. If you haven't heard this, go look it up. I may be wrong, or maybe something got I don't know, changed or solved, if I did hear this correctly to begin with, but I believe Funko is not dealing in board games anymore. And I don't really think this has to do with the tariffs. Like, we're hearing that problem with Cool Mini or not. I just heard this week has laid off, fired tons of their employees, and has canceled pretty much, I think, everything for the rest of this year. Something like that. Funko, this happened before all that. I swear I remember hearing this before all this. That Funko games just no more. Funko Pops, Funko this, Funko that, but not the games anymore. I guess they didn't sell that well. I thought they were fun, and they definitely looked great for families. And, you know, if you pick the right theme, the right genre, because there's tons of them, right? Marvel, DC, Jaws, Universal Monsters, Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm drawing a blank. There's so many that they had for the Funko Pop games. But yeah, it's going to get even more Spartic, if not completely over now at this point, the Chad TI. Well, yeah, Chad TI. But thanks for watching and commenting, man. It means a lot to me. Slideshow Gaming, our old friend Starship Chiru Studio 7097. Make sure I get those numbers right at the end there. Yeah, Starship for our Slideshow Gaming of Fuse. Me and Ron have played this once already on camera. I've played this once already on camera. Me and Tom Vulu have played this 3 times already off camera. Haven't won once yet. So Starship said, is it like a time limit pressure game? Who is it? Well, yeah. I did respond to this message. The bombs, they're going to go off in exactly 10 minutes. Once you start the app on that, the game on that app, it starts immediately. So you make sure you have everything completely set up that needs to be set up before you start. Because when you start, you start. I mean, when you start this game more than you've started pretty much any other game you've ever gamed. There is pressure. There is tension. It does create a little bit of anxiety. I like that in a game. I feel like having that little bit of pressure in a game gives it more of an edge. I think that's why I like it more, Starship. And thanks for always being here for us. Hey, listen, I'm almost 8 minutes in now. Before I get any further in, I'm going to say something without saying something, all right? So this time next year, I will be doing the May viewer comments. I am hoping at that time, and if not, it will be the end of June. I'm hoping at that time to have the biggest announcement in Two Gun Pixie's YouTube history of 7 years. So wait, I mean, everyone that's been with me for a while or longer, thank you so much. And just hold on, something pretty exciting is going to be announced. Even if it doesn't happen, I'm going to announce what the attempt was. That's still going to be huge enough. It'll be huge enough. But I got a really good, strong feeling that within a month, 2 months, something big that I've been pushing for, behind the scenes, not talking about to anybody. I just mentioned it to my wife this weekend. My brother Scott knows about this. I've hinted at a couple of my sisters, but I believe that if you talk about something before it happens, raises the chances nothing's going to happen. But now that the goal is right there, I said a couple of things. Now I'm just going to tell you that if not the end of May, the end of June. So hold on a little longer, right? You Pixie Posse. It's going to be well worth it. I think. So brawling board games. That brings me to this month's spiciness. Here. Brawling board games. Marvel Champions the card game versus the Sentinels of the Multiverse Definitive Edition. I'm just going to get to the comment first, and then I'll run my mouth. Did I miss anything in this live comments? Nothing in the live chat yet. Okay. ID Jester. ID Jester. Like a court jester, a fool, buffoon, right? Okay, I had to stop watching. You're showing off pictures of components from Marvel with card dividers which don't come in the game at all. The much smaller and easier to manage dials are in Sentinels of the Multiverse. Sorry, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. This Gen X is telling that boomer to shut the hell up. Okay? You're the one that really doesn't know what you're talking about here, fool, idiot fool, or ID Jester, whatever the hell your name is here. So you were expecting me, if you really truly know Marvel Champions of the card game, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna tell me that you were expecting a reviewer, like I was doing, to literally take out every single extra component for the visual shots and then have to put it all back together again? No, not freaking at all. Okay, so it is your thought that you happen to prefer these smaller dials for your smallish, carny hands. That's fine. You got tiny hands, you need little things that you can hold on to. Big manly things, slip out of your hands. I get it. ID fool, buffoon, whatever the hell your name is. But to say that I don't get it, to say that, come off like I don't know what I'm talking about and I just started this yesterday. I took a look at your failed channel, a poorly failed channel that you have, that you just gave up on. Why? Because that's what you probably do throughout life. You probably do something because it sounds fun for 5 minutes. And if it's not fun enough, you just throw it the hell away. See, I don't normally start doing something like this unless it's something I already know. Not only do I like, but it's part of who I am. So you, with your failed, poor-ass freaking channel, can take your opinion. Actually, it's not even an opinion. It's not. It's a straight thought. And I can back that up with Harlan Ellison, okay? When he said, no, you're not entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to your informed opinion. No one should be entitled to ignorance. So, yeah. So you can take your stray thought and you can shove it up your ass. I mean, there's so much dust up there anyway, boomer. I mean, you looked like you were about 110 years old. You're one step away from being silent generation. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's get on to better stuff. Tabletop Takeout 1 Deck Dungeon Forest of Shadows. So Ian Tan LK said, don't look, but I think there's someone hiding in your shelf. Well, you can't really see. He got moved now, but he's a little bit too far back for you. You can kind of see him right there on my finger. Is right there. You can see a little bit of him. That's Fu Manchu. Fu Manchu. He's been doing freelance work here for years now. Actually, it's a tiki glass that an old friend of the channel, Phaedra, she works for Pokemon. A few years back, she was in London. She was doing some work there, and while she was out at a meeting at a bar or something, a restaurant, whatever, she saw they had these, and she took a picture and sent it to me. And she said, "Oh, I bet you're gonna think this is cool." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." Ask them how much. I'll pay you back when you get home. So she gets back home. We usually hook up if her job doesn't bring her to the city sooner. We usually hook up her, me, and my wife, and a few other old friends. She was part of the gaming group years ago. She was one of my old 20-sided warriors. We'll get together, hang out, and game and stuff. So when she came back, the following visit she had with us, she pulls it out of her bag. I was like, "Oh, cool. How much do I owe you?" "Whatever, man. That's worth it." And she tells me, no, they wouldn't sell it to me, John. Like, what? So whatever restaurant or bar or whatever she was in had what you saw there, the Fu Manchu tiki glasses. So after she sent me the picture and I asked her, I said, hey, if you can buy it from them, I'll buy it back from you. So she mentions that to the waitress in this restaurant, bar, club, whatever in London. And the waitress laughs in her face and says, oh, you Americans think you can just buy anything, don't you? So she did what any person would do, especially an American. And after the lady left, she used the napkin, cleaned it out, put it in a purse, walked out with it. That's how Fu got here. He's hot property. But listen, all she had to do was say they're not for sale. I'm sorry. I mean, Phaedra said, well, I would have stolen it. But at least, you didn't have to be mean about it, you're a waitress, people sitting at the table, so you're already towering above them. So you already got this thing going on, right? And then to get into her face, oh, you Americans think you can just buy anything. Well, yeah, anybody can buy anything. Don't you know that? That's how the owner of this place has all this silverware here, because he bought something. What a stupid comment. For such a simple question. Wow. So yeah, that's the story behind how we got Fu Manchu. And if you want to see more Fu Manchu, he's in just about every single unboxing episode that we do here at Two Gun Pixie. He boycotts some of the Marvel games because he's a little upset that the MCU kicked him out. He was the original in the storyline back in the 70s. He was the original father of Fu Manchu was the original father of Shang-Chi. So he hasn't gotten over that slight. So he doesn't really do a lot of the Marvel unboxings. But yeah, that's the story behind our man, Fu Manchu, right up there. Thank you for noticing. Thank you there, Ian Tan, LK. Very awesome. Tabletop Takeout, Bag of Dungeon, The Cursed Forest, Minaman tea. Minaman. Like the name Mina, and then Mon like Monday, Mon. Minaman tea, like you're drinking tea. It says, love the review. That's a direct quote. You can see it right down there in the comments if you want. She said, love the review. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me, especially for Tabletop Takeout. When I get a compliment for this series, because it's not a real, well, I mean, it's real. Obviously it's real. But when you go to other YouTubers that do board games, they do different style reviews than I do. They do much more elaborate, usually most of them much deeper. They go heavy into the rules, and it becomes a how-to play as well as a review. And I don't do that. I just give out bullet points that me, like I say in the beginning of every of those videos, me, my wife, the Two Gun Pixie partner Tom Vulo, or one of the 20-sided warriors, why we like the game when it hit the table. I mean, I get a little long-winded with the bullet points because I'm verbose and I know a lot of words. When you like to hear yourself talk, that's a horrible combination to have there. But yeah, so when I get a compliment for something, especially the Tabletop Takeouts, thank you. That does mean a lot. Shogun Steen. That was that. Okay. So this was a little bit shorter. Shogun Steen had a lot of comments. Now, if you don't know Shogun Steen, he's been a friend of the channel pretty much since the beginning. Maybe our oldest, regular, continuous viewer, subscriber, fan, friend of the channel. Maybe our longest standing member of the Pixie Posse. That's Shogun Steen. He has a channel too about board games and other things. He doesn't talk about just board games. He's not as blindsided as I am over here. And as I mention all the time, because it's true, he does a great series on colorblind perspective for components and board games. Speaking as someone who has a slight blue-green blending every now and then, I definitely can understand why someone would want, a perspective from someone that's colorblind. And me and him have spoken, and it seems like his color blindness is a little worse than mine. But yeah, it's great. Go check out the Shogunstein. He's definitely worth watching. So yeah, for this time last month, he made a whole bunch of comments for live March comments and AMA. Ooh, so I might not even remember exactly what each and every one of these comments is for compared to what I said in the moment during the live stream. So we'll just go through this and we'll see what happens. So yes, these are every one of these comments, all Shogunstein. Shogunstein 6475. I have mostly the deluxe edition of the Tiny Epic, and there are so many pieces and expansions and so many tiny components in these boxes. I have trouble getting any of them back in the box. Now at least they give you a second box for those expansions. Those Tiny Epic games have so many modes, solo rules, expansions, characters to play with it, and probably would take a year to make it through all of that content, which most people probably will never do. You get a lot of game for $40, but I can't get it back in the box. Oh, Shogunstein. Yes, Shogunstein said don't forget that they have playmats for many of those games too. Okay, first of all, the playmats don't come with the boxes. Get that out of your complaint box. Get that out of the complaint box. Anything that is an add-on, you can't talk about. You can't talk about it, Shogunstein. Love you, brother, but you got to shut your mouth about it. If it's an extra, like the mat or anything else that's an add-on that doesn't come in the actual box, you can't compare by saying you have trouble getting all the components in the box. So that's off the table. That part of the conversation is gone. Now, as far as everything in the box, there shouldn't be a problem getting it all back in. In most cases, I don't even use the expansion boxes for most of the games. You know, the half-size boxes. I do for stories. Tiny Epic Dungeons and the stories, that there's no way I couldn't fit the expansion and that back in the same core box. No way. No, that's an engineering impossibility, Shogunstein. But I did notice, did you notice on their new Kickstarter? Well, the one that just finished up. It's a sequel to Dungeon Adventures. It's more D&D style Dungeon Adventures. They double-sized the box. The expansion box is the size of the standard core boxes from the previous whole run series of games. And the core box is about box and a half size. Now, you would think maybe that's going to make things easier to get back in the box, but you know that only means one thing. There's more crap in the box. So, yes, in my opinion, for what I have physically done with my own hands, there are a couple that, like Dungeon, that you just can't get the expansion in the big box, in the main box. And also, not all of them have expansions. Tiny Epic Westerns. That never had an expansion. I don't know what they could do with the expansion, but I'm not a game designer. I mean, I've done videos where I've had thoughts about games, but I'm not a game designer. Tiny Epic Zombies never had an expansion. I think that's still the least on the list for me personally. So it's not a big deal that they didn't come out with an expansion for that. But yeah, most of the games do. Yes, most of them definitely do have expansions. Shogunstein. But you got to take your time. And you got to think about it like a game of Tetris, okay? Here's a good idea. If you get it all in the box, take a picture of it. I'm serious. Take a picture of it. If you get it all in the box, get a nice little picture of it, save it in your file somewhere, make a gaming file or whatever, so you easily know where it is. And next time you got to put it in the box, take a look at the picture. Because if you get it in right, and you keep doing it, keep following your photograph as an instruction manual, then after a few gameplays, it's not going to be a big deal. You're not even going to need the reference. Love you, Big Johnny G, but you missed my point entirely on Catan. My post was about how games like Catan and Splendor are great games, but for some reason, the cult of the new crowd loves to poop on the games like TTR and Catan and Splendor. That was what my post was about. It was defending Catan for unnecessarily hate from people who can't admit that they like it anymore. For my post actually about the lasting power of Catan and Splendor versus TTR versus these Kickstarter games that come and go, but the cool kid, but are the cool kid games. So I might have taken your point wrong. But you and me have agreed in the past about the whole cult of the new crap. On the one hand, I get it because it's a business and you want to push the new product from your business. And if you didn't, you'd be an idiot, right? But the fact that these companies use so many YouTubers by giving them money. I'm not here to point fingers and say names, but by giving them money, by giving them, practically, a blank check for any title that they have coming out and expansions and Kickstarter specials and deluxe editions. And sometimes they get kickbacks or even get paid rooms at these conventions. Paid seats and rooms on the cruises just so they promote this big company or companies' products. That is another thing that kills nostalgia games. That's pushing it back too far. But games that are good, but they just are not the new title. That's why I don't like 99.9% of every single board game, D&D, YouTuber, content creator on any platform. I hate them all. I'm not going to get into like maybe two or three. Obviously, you and me are buddies, Shogun Steen, and I know how you feel about me too because of the way I feel about this. But yeah, if I sat down and really thought about it, I might come up with one or two names that I think are decent. But everyone else is a tool. So these tools have one job, and that's to push the new. And in order to push the new, you have to ignore the old. It's just the way the system works. I hate it as much as you do. And I understand it from both points of view. You're a business, you're a company. You want your new shit to make money. But by doing that, you're screwing the old stuff. And you're causing this climate, like you were talking about, Shogun. You're causing this climate of these sycophants who follow absolutely anything, one of these big, I don't know, whatever number you want to put on it, one of these big 5 or 7, 10, whatever number you think is right. Big number of professional board game, D&D personalities on these creator content platforms like YouTube and X and TikTok and Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky and whatever the hell else is coming out tomorrow. They're just as responsible. They are killing the culture of the cool for the culture of the new, because they are the ones that are getting paid for it. So their sycophant followers just do whatever the hell they want. If blank, fill in whoever you want there. If blank says something is uncool, why should I be playing it again? And they either don't realize that they have this power, which is sad, or they do know exactly what they're doing, which honestly makes them evil. That's one reason why I do what I do the way I do it. You look at my videos and you look at other board game /D&D YouTubers, and with the exception that I'm sitting in front of a wall of board games and I do some live playthroughs of board games, and I guess maybe, well, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say unboxings. I'll say why in a moment. I don't do my videos like anyone else does. I don't edit them the way anyone does. I don't film them the way anyone else does. I don't necessarily talk about the things anyone else bothers to talk about. No. Why? Why do I not do it that way? Because I have zero influence. I have almost zero influence from every other single board game D&D YouTuber content creator. Look, it's complicated. I'm 9 of 10 kids. Long story short, I was raised as an only child. So I'm naturally inborn the baby of the family who gets what the hell he wants. And I'm also the spoiled only child who gets what he wants. So that also means I do what I want. As long as it's not illegal or immoral, and I want to do it, I will fucking do it. So I do my channel the way I want to do it. I'm not influenced by fill in the blank or fill in the blank. Because of that, I'm ignored. I don't care. I don't care, obviously. I got something cool coming down the pipe. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, might get me some recognition, but that's not why I'm doing it. When it happens, we'll talk about it. But yeah, it seems like every single... See, to me, maybe it's because I'm Gen X, right? But to me, this whole YouTube thing is really just public access TV. Anyone under my age category probably doesn't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But all this is public access TV that some schmuck found a way to actually monetize. That's what this is. So I treat it like it's public access TV. This is my channel. I do what I want, how I want to do it. I present my videos how I want to do them. I don't listen to publishers. I don't listen to game designers. I have nothing to offer them. They have nothing to offer me. That gives me a freedom and a liberty that 99.9% of every other single person on a platform talking about the things I talk about, I have so much more freedom, total freedom compared to them. The cult of the new sucks. It's a pushed agenda. Yeah, there's going to be new titles that you like from time to time. That's why at the end of many of my Gaming Radar videos, series I do Gaming Radar, there's a very strong and honest reason why at the end of those videos, almost every single one of them, I tell the audience, whoever's watching that video, I tell them, listen, don't listen to me. Don't listen to a floating head on YouTube or a disembodied voice telling you what the publishers want you to know about the game. You don't know if they've been bribed. You don't know if they've been bought. You don't know if they've been gifted to say the things they're supposed to say. Instead of listening to these airheads, watch playthroughs. Because you can fake anything. But it's kind of hard in the moment to fake levels of excitement. You watching the video, you're going to get a very good feeling. You're probably going to know right off the bat if something is coming off as phony. And when it's not coming off as phony, that's going to tell, well, I think that tells you something great either way. Well, if they're being phony, then you know that they are forcing the agenda. So they probably can't be trusted. Because if they're forcing the fun, then there's a reason for that. And like the old saying goes, follow the money. But if you're watching a playthrough and you genuinely believe the levels of fun and excitement that they are having, that's honesty. That's how you determine if you're going to like a game. Watch videos. Maybe go to your local gaming store or a board game cafe. Watch someone playing the game. Try it for free yourself if you get the chance. But don't listen to these idiots telling you how much a game is great. And then you never, think about this, how many times have you watched so-and-so on so-and-so telling you how great a game is, how much him and everyone or her and everyone else loves it, and then you never see them talk about the game again. You never see them do a playthrough of the game again. You never hear it mentioned by them again. Well, then it wasn't that freaking great, was it? Because I got news for you. When I like a game, I talk about it. But that's the point. They're being paid to talk about a certain subject. They're being gifted to talk about a certain subject. So it gets to the point where that becomes regular. So if you are not being gifted, if you're not being paid, then you don't talk about it. See the problem? See the problem with, as I said, and I'll stand by this. You can send this to any other goddamn board gaming D&D reviewer, content creator you want. I stand by this. I'm not a keyboard coward, okay? I can't stand any of them. They're all tools. They all do the same goddamn thing, like they came out of the same factory, you know? There's like 3 different doors in the factory, and everyone came out of one of those 3 freaking doors. And they all parrot each other. If you see one of the big 5 or whatever number, we talked about this earlier, whatever number you think is the big number, right? Big 3, big 5, big 7 board game reviewers. This is why they're always saying pretty much the same goddamn thing about every new title. You don't hear a lot of variation there, do you? No. Again, because they're all paid tools. And they are the reason why this cult of the new is so dominant. And why good games never get talked about a second or third time. If you watch my channel regularly, you'll realize I very rarely talk about a hot, in-the-moment topic, subject, title game. There's a lot of words in that sentence. No, but I don't. I very, very rarely. So when I was doing the Kickstarter or Dropkick, which I very rarely do anymore now, of course, that had to be current. I'm not going to tell you to kickstart a game that was 2 years old. Duh. But otherwise, how often do you hear me jumping on a time-wise bandwagon? Like, oh, this game is hot right now. Everyone's got to talk about it. No. I talk about whatever the hell catches my attention in the moment. I think about what video I want to make. What video do I want to talk about? That's what I talk about. That's honesty, my friends. Can you compare that level of honesty to anything that the top 5, 7, 10 in this business have? No. We're all tools. Shogunstein, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, he also says neither Dread movie was a big hit. Well, okay, see, I was wrong. I thought that the Carl Urban was a bigger hit in the box office, and I was wrong. It wasn't. It was a bigger hit. I'm not talking monetarily wise. Yes, the Steven Seagal movie was a bigger hit. But as the chips have fallen over the years, it still has a lower rating than the Carl Urban one. And the good news, I just saw the article this morning that apparently Carl Urban is in discussion for playing Dread for a streaming service. Yeah, a Dread series with Carl fucking Urban back in the role of Judge Dredd. Yeah! This is what we need. That movie was so superior to Sylvester Stallone's in every way. Come on, Shogunstein. Stallone was actually onto something in terms of taking the helmet off. What are you talking about? Even though it was not canon. You just said you said opposite. I mean, that one sentence had started and ended in complete opposition of each other. Okay, Stallone was actually onto something in terms of taking the helmet off. No, he wasn't. If in the next breath, in the same breath, not even the next, in the same breath you go, even though it was not canon. And that just proves my point and every other nitpicker's point. It wasn't canon. We all knew, for Christ's sake, that was the height of Stallone's career. There's no one on the face of the planet that didn't know Stallone by his face or his voice. There's nobody on the face of the planet that knew what a movie was that didn't know that he was starring in that movie. The only reason he took that helmet off is because his ego is bigger than the goddamn planet. He's as bad as Bela Lugosi, only half as good an actor. The whole reason Bela Lugosi turned down the role of Frankenstein was he said, nobody could see my face. Nobody will know who I am. That's how Boris Karloff took off, because he said, I'll take the damn role. You never heard Lon Chaney Jr. complaining about that, or Lon Chaney Sr. No, because a real actor is going to act, regardless of what is on his or her face. That's why I got it capped. Yes, that's why. Don't give me this, he was on to something, and then the same breath say, oh, even though it wasn't canon. No. No. You know what? Luke Skywalker never killed Leia. Maybe we could do a rewrite where he just decides to take a lightsaber up her throat. Okay? Well, he didn't do that in the comics. That's not canon in the movies. That never happened in a show. But it's okay. He's on to something. I'm going to die on this hill. The biggest mistake that ever happened in that movie was Stallone taking off the goddamn helmet. Stallone has a beautiful face. Haven't you seen the end of the Rocky movies? Beautiful man and a great writer-director. Please don't have him arrested. Oh, hey, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Nobody can tell me what I find beautiful. And I do not think Sylvester Stallone has a pretty face. Even before it got all beat up and then plastic surgery had to put it back together. I'm not talking about any one incident here. Like, what incident is he talking about? I mean, over the course of his whole goddamn life. My God. That's not a face I want to look at, normally. Jeez. No. And as a director, he's so-so. I don't think in my personal opinion, I don't think Stallone is any bit above so-so as far as a director goes. I mean, as far as actors turned directors go, he's nowhere near Clint Eastwood. Man, I will shit on Stallone as Judge Dredd all day long. It's my opinion. Because I've seen the movie, I've read the comic books, and I know his other work. So yes, I have an informed opinion about this. All right, Funko did try one gamer's game, and that was Pan Am. Oh, that was Funko, huh? I vaguely do remember the Pan Am. I actually think I did a gaming radar on that a few years back. And then it just disappeared from my mind, from all references online. Yeah, Pan Am. Shit, you're right. And the box cover looked just like the logo. That was it. It was just the logo. Funko did try one gamer's game. That was Pan Am, which is a great game, but was probably slightly too gamer for their target audience at Target. Overall, not a heavy game, but heavy for Funko. Pan Am is great. It was one of the Target games. I should have done a video. Local Target is where I go for pharmacy pickups. So I'm really only in there once a month or so. And I was just in there a couple of days ago, like 4 days ago I was in there. And as always, I took a walk by their game section because, I don't know, about 4 years ago, I did a video on Target game section at the time. And it was okay. Had some interesting titles. Man, it sucked this time. Next time I go to Target in the next few weeks, I think I'm gonna be prepared to do a video. Because if it's better, then hey, it's cool shit to show off. If it isn't any better, what the fuck happened? Got you worked up there, Big Johnny G? That was his last thing he said for that. I want to mention something. It came up a little bit earlier, mentioned, and it just went out there. But and it says nothing. Well, I mean, it does. Obviously it does. But the point is not to be political, to politicize anything, because this game is only about board games. But now with what's happening with Cool Mini or not, how many of the other big name companies is this going to happen to? I mean, being a gigantically huge fan and completionist for the Marvel game, I mean, they already have plans for the next 4 expansions and I still didn't do the unboxing for this yet, for this, right? They got Black Panther Shuri, they got Silk, got Falcon, and I can't remember the other lady. 2 guys, 2 ladies. I can't remember the other one. But yeah, so there, I mean, I just checked their list yesterday on their own page. Nothing has changed. But come on, how many people like me, after this, weren't you 100% expecting, wanting, maybe even demanding Fantastic Four? Are we going to get that now? I mean, we need Fantastic Four. We need Midnight Suns / Ronin Knights. Ronin Knights / Marvel Knights. We need those too before the whole system goes kaput. You gotta give us Fantastic Four, man. Oh, shit. But what other companies is it going to affect? I know it's not affecting them yet. I know it's just, so far, it's just Cool Mini or not. Right there with my Marvel Zombies. And I got a few other commons as well. But yeah, it's, wow. I knew that the golden age, this board gaming boom, was going to have to crash at some point. It's been going strong for years. Maybe even the pandemic, COVID, maybe even extended it a little bit, maybe. But I didn't see it going down like this because of taxation and tariffs. Just not being able to afford these games to be published. I mean, it's one thing for I heard that some of these countries are just saying we'll just send it direct to you. We'll just send it direct to you, the buyer, and we'll avoid the tariff thing. But these things still have to be made, and it's still the cost of them being made, right? So like all these board gaming companies, well, I know, Fundamental Games, they do all their publishing on the I think in Canada, definitely in the North American continent. I think definitely in Canada because that's where they're from. And I mentioned to my wife who's in publishing who doesn't understand how they can afford that at all. She's been in publishing pretty much her whole life. And every time I bring up the fact that, well, Fundamental Games is able to do it, she has no idea. She wants to see their business model because she thinks it's impossible. Then again, they haven't come out in the game in, 2 years? Maybe she's right. Maybe their business model failed. I don't know. I'm planning on contacting them soon. It's been a while. We used to contact each other regularly. But yeah, how is this going to survive? What's going to happen? Is it just going to be a binge on everyone just buying up used games? Have you thought about that? That's what I thought about. If new board games go up 25, 30% in price, even just 10% in price, a lot of people are going to be pissed. Everyone's going to be pissed in this hobby field, right? But it's going to hurt. A lot of people aren't going to be able to afford, definitely not the bigger games. The games that are right now costing $100, $120. After it goes up, there's no way those games are going to be bought by anyone except the really, really rich. And you know what? Going back to something else we were talking about, I guarantee you 100%, all those other schmucks, those tools I was talking about earlier, they're still going to sell the big, expensive, when those big, huge title Fantasy Flight games comes out, or Peterson Games, has another like $200 Cthulhu set comes out or something like that, they are going to be kissing ass. They are going to be sucking that company's ass so hard to push that sale for the new title. Oh, they're going to avoid the whole fact that it's going to cost you $200-$300 to get it. They're going to push it anyway. And that's going to be more proof to you that they're just tools. Can't trust them. And this is gonna shine a light on a lot of those bullshit con artists. I understand you want to make a living doing this, but there's a difference between making a living doing this and being a con artist piece of shit, which is what you all are. 99.9% of you. After years of watching the videos until it petered off and I couldn't stand it anymore, I'm convinced of that. Convinced. So yeah, if these tariff prices cause board games to go up 25, 30% or more, I guarantee you 100%. Blank, blank, and blank. You know the ones I'm talking about. All they're going to be doing is trying to do their best to sell you that game. Because that's A, how they get it for free. B, that's how they get their rooms booked for free at the conventions. And that's how they make cash money. So it is literally impossible for any of these big 3 or 5 or 7 or however many you want to count for them to step back when this all happens. No, they're still going to be jamming this shit down your throat. How long is that going to last? Like I said, are we going to see a big, huge boom, a binge on everyone going out and buying every damn used game they can find because the new titles are going to be costing too much? And the new titles are costing too much. What are these peddlers going to do? What are these peddlers of bullshit and lies? What are they going to do if all you and me are doing is buying used copies of games because we can't afford anything anymore here in America? Yeah, this is going to be interesting in the next year. See how these assholes spew their new bullshit spins? Yes, it did get a little spicy here today. It always gets a little spicy when I do something live, doesn't it? I can't help it. All right, so we're closing in an hour. It's been 15 minutes. There's been a few viewers in, but it looks like live chat has been empty. So I'm going to be assuming that there's not going to be any AMA here today. Hey, that rhymed. All right, so like I said in the beginning of the video, or mid halfway to the beginning or whatever, end of May, if not definitely 100% the end of June. By halfway through the year, by the end of the halfway month through the year, if not a little sooner, expect to hear something shockingly different. Well, no, it's still board games and D&D stuff. Anyway, it's going to be a surprise. I guarantee you it's going to be a surprise. Wish me luck, but more than that, wish me skill, everyone. And I'm your buddy Big Johnny G, and I am out of here.